And Zach about bringing Ryder to Seattle for a visit while I'm gone. Are you going to be okay there while I'm gone?
Sometimes I feel embarrassed to be like with the kids' places and they're like, "Where's your husband?" I'm like, I don't have a husband.
Well, you could just tell them you do. I say
That's
that I
what
have
you do.
Well, I do it to show you the respect.
What? Oh my God, nigga. What?
Husband.
Well, you could just tell them you do. I say
That's
that I
what
have
you do.
Well, I do it to show you.
Men love calling women their wives, but not being married. Like men get a big kick out of that shit. I've seen that so many times. And as a married man, I ain't gonna lie, I do be kind of gatekeeping marriage in that way. Like I be like, that ain't your wife. Like, nigga, you ain't you weren't with me shooting in the gym, nigga. Stop. You don't get to say that. Oh, we married in the eyes of the Lord. If you ain't got that white man paperwork, you ain't married. Period. And if it ain't that big of a deal, then why not go do it? If it ain't that big of a deal, if the white man paperwork don't mean much, why not just get it? Ain't none of y'all driving around without a driver's license talking about that white man paperwork. You went in and got your driver's license. Right? Like, what is so hard about that? Now, this woman wants to be married. Clearly, she wants to be married to this man. Clearly, she wants to be married, right? So I'm all down for the marriage. Now I get to talk to the man, right? Because I had to kind of back away from telling men to marry women because I got, when you just talk about marriage with men are so abusive that I feel like I'm putting women in harm's way by telling men they should be married. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you heathens should never be married. And I stand on that. But anyways, if you listen to what's going on, she's like, when I'm in, basically, why haven't you made me your wife? Like, we got kids together, or they have a kid together at least. I think she has kids with somebody else, whatever. But he's with her, so I don't give a fuck. They got they living together, they got a kid together, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're in love, all of this stuff, and they're of age, and I mean, your money is already tied together, right? We'll get to that. Why not? She's just like, what the fuck are we doing? Why won't you commit, pretty much? She's not coming out and saying that in this case, but that's what I'm getting from this.
The respect.
And he's trying to gaslight her and be like, I call you my wife out of respect for you. No, that is actually very patronizing and disrespectful to call a woman who she knows you're not, that she knows that she's not your wife, and you're calling her your wife. Why? That's very patronizing. That's not respectful at all. You're trying to gaslight her. You're trying to give her everything but the ring and the commitment and be like, I'll do that for you. No. You're doing that for yourself. You're trying to manipulate her into forgetting, like, well, he has done all these other things with me and he calls me his wife. It's pretty much the same. That's what you're doing.
You do. I say
That's
that
what you do.
Well, I do it to show you the respect. I do it. I see your smile when I'm on the phone and I'm like, yeah, me and my wife, we have 2 kids and a brand new house together. Like,
he said, we have 2 kids and a brand new house together. Exactly. You bought a house with this woman. She gave you 2 babies and you don't want to get married. You think the marriage is the fucking commitment? So I don't want to hear nothing about no money and we got to get into a right place financially. You wouldn't buy a house with the person that you weren't financially, on in line with, right? Why would you buy a house with that person? Why would you have kids with that person? You know what I mean? I mean, the kids are actually, I understand more because people sleep together. Shit happens, right? I get that. You buying a home together, that takes thought. Now, you probably bought a home with her because why? Because you needed her to buy that home. You needed her to buy that home with you. And he's trying to act like, I did all of this for you. You did it. You did it for yourself. You did it for yourself. You're doing all of this for yourself. It's very performative how you're acting. This shit is crazy, man. Hearing a man talk about this in this way, it'll never not make sense to me. Like I never thought about it when I was young. I never thought about it before I got married to my wife. I never thought about it. I always like wanted to be married, and I knew that I was gonna get married, and I literally like for it was just different. Like I wanted to be married. Let me put it like that. Like it was never like I was on some like I'm not fully committed to this. Like that wasn't it. Like I knew I was gonna get married, but like what is the holdup? We didn't have kids. We didn't buy a home together. We lived together. We had dogs together, but and even then I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna marry her. No doubt about it. We didn't have no money though. Like we didn't like they have a house together already. You see what I'm saying? Like we already had it. There's no way in hell I would have moved into a house with my wife before we got married. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's a chance. I don't know. But more than likely not. We would have got married first. And I wouldn't have made it that order. I'm just saying like what it would have taken for us to buy a home by the time we got there, it would have been years. You see what I'm in Cali. So just so you guys know, I couldn't have bought a home when I was 28 years old. Like that shit is damn near impossible in California.
You just two call kids me your wife. In a brand new house together, like.
But you can't just call me your wife.
Why?
When you haven't made me a wife.
Exactly.
Okay, just because you don't have the.
He don't have a comeback for that. Instead of him, this is where men go wrong. Instead of you sitting with that and just accepting that, this is how this response is exactly like this proves that you are simply trying to gaslight her because what she said was very valid. It was very valid. You don't need to convince her that what she's saying, you don't need to invalidate what she's saying. It was very valid. You can have your feelings about it. That's fine. But you can't try to act like what she's saying isn't valid though. It shouldn't be met with the but it shouldn't be met like that. It should be like, yes, you know what? You're right. That is very, very valid. I can see where you're coming from. Even if you don't feel like that. Even if you don't feel like that. Even if you feel like, man, come on. We do like whatever you're about to say. I wouldn't say that, but all right, whatever though. You can make an argument for that. But the fact that you didn't acknowledge what she said was valid shows me that you're just trying to gaslight her. That's it.
You can't just call me your wife.
Why?
When you haven't made me a wife.
Okay. Just because you don't have the ring yet doesn't mean you're not my wife. Like,
oh my God.
What?
It's not about a ring. It's about that white man's paperwork. It's about the commitment. Fuck the ring. Let's say you don't want to spend $10,000 on a ring. I wouldn't. I never have. I wouldn't spend $10,000 on a ring unless I would probably have to have $100 million like in the bank type shit before I spend $10,000 on a ring. They're not worth it. On jewelry in general. Like I love jewelry. I like necklaces and shit like that, but it's just not worth it. It's really not. To me, it's not. It's not. People can say, oh, they appreciate. I don't give a fuck. I'm not buying a Rollie. I'm not like, at the end of the day, there's better things for my money. And I'm not knocking anybody that does. This is my personal opinion. And I want people to understand that, because I think it matters in the context of this conversation. I wouldn't spend that much money on a ring. But if that's what you're waiting on, don't. You don't need to wait on that. Get the paperwork. Hey, we're going to sign this paperwork. I want to make sure my family is protected. Are you okay with us having a ceremony in a year? Are you okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, this woman clearly don't care about all of that shit. It ain't all about the frills and all of that shit. He's mentioning a ring. Is that what it is? You want to buy her a $30,000 ring and you want to have a $100,000 wedding and that's on, like, is that what it is? Talk to her about it. If she's on the same page, then I understand. Wait, if she's like, nah, yeah, we ain't gonna do it that way. I don't want to do it. Cool. But my guess is she's not on that type of time. That's all I'm saying.
I don't have the ring yet doesn't mean you're not my wife. Like,
oh my God.
What?
You just don't see it. I want to leave this convo.
These types of conversations, like looking at them now through this lens that I have, with my newly adopted worldview that I've grown into recently within the last few years, this type of shit is like, leave. Like, yeah. That's so disrespectful. And the way he's acting is so disgusting. Like, that's crazy. I can see I used to think women were overreacting when they would have that reaction to this type of stuff. But listening to this right now and being a man and being in that, like having been in that position and all of that stuff, being him, I've said this type of shit before. So that's, you know, I got to be the first one to admit that shit. You know me. But looking at it now with a more mature, developed mind, oh no, this is terrible. And looking at it from the woman's perspective, or even if I was the man, but a woman was trying to gaslight me the way he's trying to gaslight her, you talk about a red flag. I mean, god damn, crimson, bright red.
Let's walk away from daddy. He's making mommy mad too.
Yep. And she handled that perfect. I mean, not perfectly, but yeah, she could have flipped over the whole fucking table on this man for what he just said to her. I'd have completely understood. I would have completely understood if she would have got up and flipped over the whole table and got mad at him or whatever. But then the man would have said later on, like, man, my wife be spazzing on me for no reason. She be tripping on me for no reason. I just don't understand. Did you just hear what you just said, bro? You just said, yeah, we got 2 kids together in a house, but I don't want to marry you yet. I'd rather just call you my wife. What? You're mad? You're mad because I didn't put a ring on it? Like, what? Oh my God, man.